Earn more the smaller piece of a larger pie.
That's right, you will. So you can have 100% of the money of all of your revenue for your game with 2 downloads.
Yeah, or you can about take 2p.
Yeah, if that.
Or you can have 20p with a publish.
Well, 1p a download, I'll take that all day long.
This is the Rising High Extended Tea Break, the game dev podcast bringing you the best practical, actionable advice for indie game developers. Brought to you by RisingHighAcademy.com. The kettle's on, so let's go listen in.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 9 of the Rising High Extended Tea Break. My name is Kevin, and I am joined with Julie today. Hello,
Good
Julie.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Is it morning?
It's
I think it is.
It's definitely morning in the future somewhere. So before we begin today's show, I just want to say a quick message about the Academy. We have brought our $10 trial back.
We have.
So you can come in and have a good test drive around the Academy for 10 days for $10. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, I would highly recommend jumping on that before we turn it off.
It's a good way to just pop in and have a look round.
It is, yeah. And most people, to be honest, who come in just stay.
Yeah, they do.
It's very different to experience it firsthand rather than looking at all our sales pages and stuff.
Yeah.
We've got so much in there.
You take 5 and have a surf around on your own.
That's right. And for $10, honestly, if you're into game development, this will be the best $10 you've ever spent. Anywho's, episode 9, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, talking about the Academy, a lot of our members are aiming for this, a publisher deal.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd go over our top 5 reasons why your goal should be to sign a publisher deal, especially within your first 10 games.
Yeah, exactly. So in your first 10 games is the real bit I think we should hone in on.
Yeah.
Because many people, they new to game development primarily, or don't have a lot of experience under their belt.
Yeah, sure.
And their first game, so exciting, obviously.
Yeah.
And come straight in like, I want to publish a deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hold on there, cowboy. You need to like pull those reins in a little bit. But that said, I reckon your goal as a game developer in the mobile space should be get a publishing deal in your first 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a lot of scope in that. Hopefully, you'll knock it out the bat straight away. But I want to talk about why publishing deals are important and why I think it's the best way to do well in the mobile space.
It's the best way going forward, I think. A lot of people ask us whether they should go for a publisher deal or whether they should self-publish, but publisher deal.
Yeah, I mean, we've done both.
Yeah.
We've done both. So we're in a really good position here because we have signed 7 publishing deals.
Yeah.
We've actually turned down 2 publishing deals with major publishers. And I don't know if that was a good or a bad idea, but I rest by our decision. And we've obviously self-published 5 games from Rising High Studio, all being featured by Apple. So we've got a really good grasp of this. So we've come up with a list, haven't we? Have we done our top
5?
Top 5 this week.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's run down the list and see where it takes us.
Okay. Number 1, set your standards right out of the gate.
Yeah. So setting high standards. So if you're looking to get a publishing deal, your game has got to be better than any other game that they've ever published. Now, Trey mentioned this when he came in on the chat, and it's a really good way of putting it.
Yes, it's got to stand out from the rest of their portfolio.
That's
better.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what gives you the right to think that you're going to get a publishing deal? What's so damn great about your game? Now, that is brutal, as I always am, but it really does. If you're looking to sign a publishing deal or get noticed by a publisher, you've got to make a really good game.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort.
There is a lot of money involved in this, and these guys get pitched.
They're busy
Man
people.
alive, how many times do they get pitched a day?
If you don't grab their attention,
exactly.
in the first 5 minutes.
Now, there's plenty of ways to do that, and we go into all of the best ways to pitch and how to get in contact with these publishers and all the rest of it inside the Academy. But the main goal here is that your game, you set yourself a high benchmark and something to strive for immediately. And that means that your developer graphics are not going to cut it. Your clone of a game is not going to cut it. You have got to really set your sights to elevate above anything else that these publishers are putting out.
And I suppose that begs the question that do you need to maybe pick your publisher first?
Absolutely.
Who you want to go for?
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Because that's going to mould how you kind of make your game.
Yeah, so if you're doing an FPS or something, Ketchup are not going to sign it.
No.
If you're making a kiddie cafe, what do they call those games where you do cooking and stuff?
Like the recipes.
Flip a burger or serve them up a milkshake. Most of the casual game publishers are not going to publish that.
No.
Now, there are publishers that will. But if you're making a cooking game where you flip burgers, you're not going to get signed by the big casual, hyper-casual publishers like the Ketchups and the Voodoos.
No.
They're not going to be interested. It's not their bag. I mean, hands up, bonus points, who can remember Ketchup's Match 3 game?
No, I don't remember that.
Exactly. It didn't work well for them. Now, whether that's still on the store, I'm not sure.
It's not the sort of thing it's not the sort of thing you'd expect from Ketchup.
And that's why it didn't do very well. Because they tried it as a test. Well, I'm saying test in their speech marks, who knows? But they released a Match 3 game and it did terrible. Because they tried to market it to their audience and their audience weren't interested. So there you go. I'll rest my face on that one. So you got by knowing which publisher you're going to go for, it will dictate the game that you're going to need to build if you want to be signed as their next game.
I think that's maybe where a lot of people go wrong, because they build a game first and then they'll say, well, what publisher?
Yeah, to be fair, we get that asked all the time. Here's my game, what publisher do you think?
Yeah,
it's just
so
like,
you can't mould it that way round. It has to be...
It's upside down.
The other way round.
Yeah, it's back to front, upside down, whatever. It's wonked out. You need to be looking at the stuff that these publishers put out and build something that will fit nicely inside their portfolio and generally
is better or more standoutish than what they've got.
Yeah, and the fact that they haven't already published something similar.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit bendy, that one, because there's different takes and different twists on certain games. But if you're making the game really close to something they've already published, they say, well, we've already got one of those.
That's right.
Okay, we have got a list.
Well, actually, what you were talking about brings us on to number 2. It actually forces your market research.
Yeah,
into which publisher you're going for.
Exactly. And the other thing is that, so 1 and 2, again, ours 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to look. It gets you in tune with the market. It forces your hand to do the market research.
Yeah.
And when everyone says market research, it all sounds really fancy. Do you know what market research is?
I think a lot of people actually think, market research.
Yeah, do you know what it is, though? You go onto the App Store and you look.
You just look, yeah.
Right? And if you're into games, then you're going to do that anyway. So your market research, although it sounds super fancy, as indie developers, it means opening up the App Store and having a look. That's it. And the more you do that, the more you'll understand the market, the more you'll understand the way the App Store works, the more you'll understand what the publisher's putting out. Because these big ones, they release at least one game a week.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Every week, new game. So it doesn't take very long to say, oh, okay, they're actually publishing a lot of these ones. Maybe I should head towards something like that, especially if it excites you or turns you on in that way. You go, oh, I love those sort of games.
Download them too, play them. What mechanics are in their games.
Exactly. So you need to, this is all about, back to number 1, setting your standards really high. If you want to get published by these big publishers, you've got to make a really good product. And that's very difficult when you're just starting out. But now we say, get this done in your first 10 games, which is the goal. If you've published in the past and you've built a few games and you're not quite hitting it, today is the day. Today is the day where the peg's in the ground and say, right, my next 10 games, that is the goal. So whether you're just starting out, and it's two different things here because you're in two different places.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out, trying to make a hit game on your first game is like pretty damn tough. Which is why I think 10's enough. 10's enough.
It should be enough.
I think
to
so.
hone everything.
I think so. I think so. If you really want to focus in and channel the energy and put your effort in the right places, and of course we talk about this so much in the academy. We have got courses and courses. We've got a full.
It's not going to happen on game one.
No.
It's just not.
It's the old cliche. It's like most overnight successes took 10 years to build or whatever, right? It is that. So this is a difficult one if you're just starting out. But if you built games in the past,
it's confidence as well.
Confidence.
You've got to give yourself confidence by making games. You become more adept at doing them. You're more confident at what you can do.
Okay, I get what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I think it comes back to the point where if you want to do.
Yeah.
So just keep swinging the bat, right? But yeah, let's get this back on. So first 10 games, if you're new, that should be your goal. In 10 games, when I'm just starting my journey, my goal is to get a publishing deal. If I've been doing it for ages, I think it was Einstein that says doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. I probably murdered that quote. But yeah, so if you've been doing games for a while and you're not seeing the success, then today's the day for your next 10 games to head for that publisher deal. Now, I think we should move on into why publisher deals are important because we haven't touched on that yet.
Right. Yeah, so, that's kind of number 3. Publishers usually have great relationships with the platforms.
They do. So here's the one of many benefits with going for a publisher. So the publishers, generally speaking, have really good relationships with the App Store managers.
Yeah, they do.
And there is a direct line or indirect direct line for them to put your game in front of the feature teams.
They're a little bit special.
They are a lot special. Now, many of the publishers will have a solid relationship with the people who make the decisions. Many would have gone into the offices in a real world, like people-to-people environment. Yeah. Like they've actually seen them and spoken to them face-to-face, which is kind of weird in the game dev situation because most of us are introverts. I know I am. But these guys, primarily more marketers, I'd like to say.
Well, David did, didn't he? David, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, plied them with booze, and there you go. He's been featured every week since. David, if you're listening, that's probably unfair, but you're probably nodding going, yeah, that's true.
Big bottle of booze.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, no, so they've gone in and they pitched it, so they've got a good relationship. So when they've got a new game, they're going to get looked at. Now, we've done it where we've approached managers ourselves, and we've been featured every single time. But I don't think we're anywhere near the level of these bigger publishers by far. I'm not saying that. So generally speaking, getting in front of the people who matter that can feature your game is very important for publishers. That is one of the big things that they bring to the table. Now it is possible because we've done it, and we've written out the whole plan of how we did it from start to finish. It is possible, but we still went with the publisher first.
Yeah, we did.
And I think that set us up. And even if you when you go for a publisher, you get to learn a little bit. You know, you learn from the publisher.
Yeah, it's
a little bit how things work.
That gets tucked away. You learn stuff.
Now, there's no secret handshakes, and they're not going to give you any of their details because that's what they bring to the table. Like I said, but you do get to learn how the process works a little bit.
Yeah,
and that definitely leads you in good stead. So one of the big ones is the publishers will have solid relationships with the platforms that you're on. Google Play, Amazon, App Store, Apple, obviously, as we're talking about mobile games.
Yeah, that's your best chance.
Okay, number 4.
Number 4. Yeah, they have an established cross-promotion network.
That's right. So most of the well-known publishers have a huge portfolio of games, all which have done significantly well. And what normally happens from many of the publishers, like your Ketchats, your Absolutes, your Nanovations, that on the week that your game releases, they will turn every single advert when you open one of their games in their portfolio, that is now displaying your new game. So on feature week, or release week I should say,
you get the best exposure.
You get a ton of traffic coming to your game. Now, anyone who's been in the mobile space for a while will understand that traffic is the key to all of this, and it's very difficult and hard to come by. It's certainly not cheap to get. So this is another reason why the publishers hold a lot of the cards here, because they can drive traffic through their internal networks and therefore get you downloads and therefore earn you revenue. Now, the likes of Ketchup to a degree, Voodoo for sure, they spend money promoting your game. They will put their hand in their pockets and actively promote your game, which is, let's face it, out of reach of most indies.
Is.
It costs a lot of money. We had Steve P. Young do a special exclusive for the Academy. He came in, and he's pretty much an expert on this. So if you don't know Steve P. Young, check him out at masters.co. He's got a at Masters podcast as well. Go check that out. But Steve kindly came in and did a workshop with us for a whole hour, value bombed the whole lot, and essentially told us how much it will cost you to make a difference and move the needle. Really insightful stuff. He's got tons of case studies about this. Go check that out. If you're an Academy member, be sure to check that one out for sure. But yeah, so it takes a lot of money, or a significant amount of money, or certainly a huge bit of budget for an indie.
For little old indies.
Yeah, and this is where the publishers come in.
Yeah,
because they will
take that off your hands.
That's right, and they essentially do the marketing for you. Now, something we haven't mentioned is the press contacts as well. As much as the platform contacts, they will have established connections with the media. Like your Touch Arcade, your Pocket Gamer, they'll know the editors, they pitched them before, and you can get a lot of solid exposure from them as well, because they go, oh, it's such and such.
It's Thingy with his new game.
That's right. But you look at anything like the guys at Lucky Cat, the guys at Noodle Cake, the guys at Nitro, every single game that they have coming up will be on Touch Arcade, will get covered.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because they're proven studios and have great relationships. I mean, we've just, this comes out probably end of March, early April, GDC's just finished. All of those guys were there.
Yeah.
You know, that's the benefits of going to these conferences and events and stuff, is that you get to shake people's hands.
And even someone like Nitro, you wouldn't even have to look at their game.
How do you mean?
It's just, it's Nitro.
Oh, well, yeah, sure. I mean, Nitro, they're one of our favourites.
Yeah.
They've got a style all of their own. But they're out there. You know, it's all the biz dev stuff that not a lot of people talk about. Going and shaking hands. And when you're pitching Johnny from Touch Arcade, if you've met him and shook his hand, there's a lot of difference from saying, oh, hello, I'm an anonymous email person, check out my game. Now, again, we go into how to pitch these successfully, and luckily we've been covered a lot, so our techniques work.
We've had a few Touch Arcade posts.
Yeah, most of them, App Advice, Pocket Gamer, all the big ones, right? So we know how to do it from little old us who haven't shaken their hands, but it's second to none to going out to these events and doing one-to-one in person and really getting to know them that way. Anyway, I don't know what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
We were talking about cross-promotion.
Oh, yeah, of course we were. That ties in nicely. Yeah, so the cross-promotion is a biggie because they can drive a lot of traffic internally. So, yeah, when you on your release week, if you sign that deal, your game will be pumped throughout their network for that week at least. And that is a major benefit of signing with a publisher. Traffic and driving downloads.
I think they hold your hand to a certain extent as well. That builds confidence as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
to know that someone's kind of taken your game and said, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think as game developers, we have to wear a ton of different hats.
Yeah.
And someone taking away the marketing side for us.
That's a huge benefit.
It's a huge benefit, yeah. It's massive. We know because we self-publish now, and that it's just like 20% game development, 80% marketing. I've got pins and needles in my foot. I've got to move. I'm going to die. Oh, man alive. Anyway, that was exciting. There you go. So I have no idea now. As I try and move my foot. Well, it
kind of leads on to number 5 anyway. You'll typically earn more.
Revenue. So revenue. Everyone says, "Oh, how much share do you get?" Well, it depends.
It depends. Yeah.
Anything from 20% up to 50% is typical. 50%, I would say 9 times out of 10, that's quite typical.
Yeah.
For I want to say like lower tier publishers. So you got the massive publishers. And then you got the sort of ones that sit underneath that have equal success, but are not quite as aggressive on the rev share.
No, some will go down to 20%.
Yeah, I think so.
Tough,
but it depends.
A big publisher
Could be 20% today. Could be 25 tomorrow.
That's right.
Could be 19 the next day. That's right. And it depends from company to company and what they're doing for their share as well. But the cruncher here is that typically you will earn a lot more from a smaller piece of the pie than you will on your own having all the pie if you self-publish, because you've got all that other stuff, as we've been talking about, all the marketing and getting noticed. Dropping,
you need to be seen,
Yeah, dropping your game in the store is not going to work that well for you. There are ways to do it, and there's always exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, it's a tough gig trying to promote your game, especially casual games, because there's no real niche target audience that you can drill down on, because they're sort of it's kind of like you should never build a game for everybody, because essentially you're building a game for nobody. And hyper casual games are kind of like that, because they should be able to be picked up and played by anyone. But that makes it kind of difficult when you're trying to market them, because who do I market to?
Who do you market to? Yeah, who's your audience? Yeah,
that's right. Who's your audience? And that's where these big publishers who have the network, they've got their audience.
They've got the drive.
They know who they are, and they know how they're going to respond to stuff. And that's a massive bonus for that. So what else have we got?
That's about it, I think.
That's it? Oh, God. Okay. Right. So let's do a summary then. I think there's loads of different reasons why you should go with a publisher. I think just to add one-ish on the end, if you're looking to self-publish like we did, I think having that, what's the way to put it? Having the credence behind you,
having gone down the road of the publisher.
You're not such a no-face.
Yeah, that's
now,
right.
many times when we pitch, we can say, 7 times published with here's our new one. So we can name drop, I think. We can name drop a little bit when we're pitching.
Yeah.
And it gives us that social proof, which is really critical when we're pitching anyone, to say, look, we're not like totally newbies.
Well, you see, if you're a publisher, they just say, "Oh yeah, it's so and so."
Yeah, I mean, imagine.
But if you're going on your own, I think, well, who are you?
Yeah, that's right. Now, imagine
if you can say something like, "Oh, we were featured by."
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I mean, imagine if we do a pitch like Ketchup pitched our last game, but we like you guys.
Yeah.
Now that's a very different story to check out my new game. So there is that as well. But we totally and utterly recommend letting the publishers look after all this difficult marketing stuff. And as game developers, we concentrate on what we do best, and that's building games.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though we've slightly gone a different route, we would certainly we're actually talking with some publishers now. So yeah, I still think it's 100% the best way to go. Okay, so I think let's round that one up. Let's go down the list, Gillian. Let's see if we can try and pull this back
so
together.
why should your goal be to sign a publisher deal within your first 10 games?
First 10 games.
Number one, set your standards high right out of the gate.
That's right.
So straight away, your needs to be on a high setting.
You got to know what it takes.
Yeah. Number two, forces market research.
That's right.
You need to know your publisher.
You do.
Number three, publishers usually have great relationships with the platforms. It doesn't come better than that.
No, it doesn't.
It's not something you can create. It's the publisher is someone you're going to go to who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
they've
knows
got the network and the
they
contacts.
know the platforms.
Yeah.
Number four, they have an established cross-promotion network. You're not going to get that on your own.
They can drive free traffic, basically.
They can drive it. Number five, you'll typically earn more.
You will.
Yeah.
You'll get more downloads. You'll earn more money.
What was it you said? I'll earn more with a smaller piece of a larger pie.
That's right, you will. So you can have 100% of the money of all of your revenue for your game with 2 downloads.
Yeah,
or you
it's
can
about
take
2p.
Yeah, if that.
Or you can have 20p with a publish.
Or 1p a download. I'll take that all day long. Yeah, so you can you can get a really, really modest percentage of a massive pie. You'll earn more money.
It's just a smart move because it's a handhold.
There's so many benefits apart
it's
from all the stuff that we've mentioned.
Yeah.
You really get in tune with everything. It really does give you a different view on things, and it basically makes you up your game.
They guide you through what they need.
That's right.
You know, the press stuff, promotion stuff.
That's right. Yeah, they'll typically ask for all the assets
Yeah.
and all of that. And then you go, I wonder why. Oh, okay. And it kind of,
you
fills
kind
in a
of
lot
get
of blanks,
to know
doesn't
you learn each stage.
That's right.
So if you're going to go on your own, you know what you've.
It builds that experience for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, for sure. So I hope you found that helpful today. I love this topic. We could literally jam all day on this, and we do.
I'm just thinking pie.
You just thinking pie? I'm thinking tea.
Apple pie.
I don't know why we called this tea break. Never get any blooming tea. It's useless. So
we have got some bourbons actually.
Yeah,
outside.
I know. We got biscuits. Now we haven't got tea. I don't know why bother. Anyway, my foot is just about coming back to life. So I hope you enjoyed today. Let us know. Send us an email. Leave a comment. Leave us a rating and review. We'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. If you want to know more about the publisher stuff, we've certainly got a huge 4-part series where we break this down. There's like 5 or 6 hours worth of dedicated how to build a game that a publisher wants in the core section of the Academy. We have countless tutorials on this stuff.
Well, we have the Watch Us Build as well, where we actually built our game and we went through all this process. Pitches.
Yeah, exactly. That was more to do how we did it on our own.
Yeah, how we did it on our own. So it kind of gives an insight.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's two balances there. I mean, you can see exactly how we've done everything on our own, right from our pitch to Apple to the pitch to the press to all of that stuff. Or you can see how we got our publishing deals.
Yeah.
You know, the pitches, how to write emails to the publishers, how to get noticed, how to build the right blooming game. You know, your problem is not really getting hold of these publishers. It's about knowing what to write to them, how to pitch them properly, and building the damn right game.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, really. But if you did want to know more, do head over to the Academy. Like I said, by the time this one comes out, we do have our 10 days for $10 trial. I highly recommend you spend $10 and come and have a look round. So that just about wraps it up now, and we will see you on the next episode.
Speak soon.
You've been listening to the Rising High Extended Tea Break. To learn more about the resources mentioned in today's show, or to find out more about the Rising High Academy, visit RisingHighAcademy.com. That's RisingHighAcademy.com.